Hi there. This video will describe how to import in 3D models as well as 3D models with animations into the Unity engine. So before I actually get to importing, I want to talk a little bit about the process of how I got the models and created them and set up for using them in Unity. So this is Autodesk Maya. This is what I'm using to model and animate my objects. I just have a basic gray material on them in Maya, and then I'll show you the textures here in a second. So the first one I have is just a coin. So this is a 3D coin that I've modeled in here. And the second one is a chest. So if I unhide that. The coin is not animating, but the chest does have two bones, a base and a top bone. And the top bone is just opening and closing. So if I play that back, let's see that motion. Oh, let's change this back to real time. There we go. So that's just the open and closing action of the chest. Okay. All right. So also in Maya, I have UV mapped these objects, so they are ready for customized textures. So each one of these, the coin and the chest, has its own UV set, which means they're going to have their own texture map as well. And what I've done here is I've taken each individual one, so the coin is going to be exported by itself. So if I hide everything else, if I select the coin, it's in the center of the grid. Before we export to our game engine, we want to make sure we delete the history. So edit, delete by type history, and then freeze the transform. So everything is back to 0. So if I do modify, freeze transforms, my scale is at 50 now. So if that modify, freeze transforms, we'll put the scale back at 0. That makes sure no other history can go into the Unity engine. And then with that coin selected, I can go File, Export Selection, and save out an FBX file. So I'm going to use FBX and then make sure smoothing groups is on. And then I'm going to choose my folder. So I have a folder in here. I already have one called Mesh Coin FBX, but this doesn't have any animation, but I do need to make sure smoothing groups is turned on. And then I'll export that out. And then I will hide that one and then turn my chest back on. And I want to select the chest objects and the joints, and I'm going to do the same thing. File, Export Selection. This one does have animation, so it is going to export out motion here. And I'm going to do Mesh Chest, and then make sure Smoothing Groups is turned on. Okay, so that's the modeling and animation side. The next thing I did was I went into a texture software, and this occasion I used Substance Painter, and I built some textures with some varying materials and adjustments on them. To build a PBR, or physically based rendering material texture set. So this texture set is going to create a base color, a roughness, a metallic, and a normal map, and those are the 4 main ones that I'm going to use here for the chest. And I also did the same thing for the coin. So from Substance Painter, I created materials and textures, and then when I'm ready to save the individual texture maps out for use in Unity, I'm going to go to File, Export Textures, and tell it where to save to, so my save folder that I had earlier. Okay, and then it's going to list these exports. So these are the files it's going to push out. I'm not going to need an emissive or a height map, but I am going to use the base color, metallic, normal, and roughness. So when I export, it's going to push out texture maps. These are the texture maps for that chest. So if I open that up, there's my base color. I don't need the height, but there's my metallic, there's my roughness, and there's my normal map. So those are the 4 maps that we need for a PBR material. I don't need that height map, so I can remove that one out. And then here's my coin texture map as well. So there is my base color, metallic, roughness, and normal map. That'll work for most PBR systems, but the default PBR material in Unity, if I go find a material that I already have in here, I don't have an option to funnel in a roughness or what's called a smoothness map. So I can look in here in Unity, it says source metallic alpha. So basically it's looking for the smoothness or that roughness map detail in the alpha channel of the metallic map. I can pull in an albedo, which is my base color. I can pull in a metallic. I can pull in a normal map, but I can't pull in a roughness map individually. So I need to adjust my metallic map so that the alpha channel of my metallic map actually has the roughness detail. So let's go back and review. Base color is the visual textural look. Metallic is what is reflective or not. Roughness is what is shiny or not. And then normal is the bump surface level detail. So what I have here is my metallic roughness map. I'm going to close this out and just open this up in Photoshop. And this is what needs to be created for use in Unity's material editor. And this is the metallic map, and it has the visual metallic detail. But in the channels, I have an alpha channel that has, if I turn off my metallic gray, I have my alpha channel of my roughness map. So the alpha channel has to be, or for roughness and smoothness to work, you have to use the alpha channel of the metallic map for the roughness. So I'll just quickly show you how to do that. So here's my individual metallic map. We don't have an alpha channel to it. So in the metallic map, let's go ahead and create an alpha channel, and it's blank right now. This is my roughness map. So I'm going to take my roughness detail and do select all. So it selects everything. I'm going to Control C to copy. Then I'm going to go back to my metallic map and make sure my alpha channel is selected and hit Control V. So that adds this as an alpha channel to the metallic map. So there's with the gray back on there. So then the next step, I just have to save this out as a file format that Unity can understand for alpha channels. So if I do File, Save As, and then I'm going to change this to a TIFF file. TIFF files give me the opportunity to save as an alpha channel. My other formats are PNG files. Unity will accept PNG files, but for an alpha channel, we need to save this out as a TIFF file. And what we're going to call this is our mesh chest, metallic, and roughness. And we need to make sure alpha channel is selected. So in order to get metallic and roughness to work, it needs to be a TIFF file with the alpha channel, and the roughness or smoothness detail needs to be in the alpha channel of this TIFF file. Alright, so now we're ready to import into Unity. We've got the model created and animated, we've created the textures, we have the texture map set up properly, and we've exported our models as FBX files so we can import them into Unity. So in Unity, in my assets folder, I'm going to right click and create folder, and we'll call this one meshes. Alright, so I'm going to open up my meshes folder and go find my folder where my FBX files are for my chest and my coin and my texture maps. So first off, I'm just going to drag select my chest mesh into the meshes folder, and then I'll import it in. It actually creates material, and I'm going to come back and open this up here in a minute, and the models and the joints and the animation for me. And then I'm going to drag my coin in here. There you go, so it does that. And I'm going to pull in the maps that I need. So I need my chest base color, which is the albedo, chest metallic. Actually, I don't need the basic metallic. I need base color, I need the metallic roughness, and then I need the normal map. So let's drag those three in, pull those textures in. And then for the coin, I need the base color, metallic roughness, and normal. So I only need 3 maps in here. There you go. Okay, so if I open up the arrow for the mesh coin, I have a material, which was the material that was set up as default in Maya, and then I have the coin mesh, the geometry mesh of it. With the chest, since I have animation, I have subparts to this. So I have the chest base, I have a chest plane, which is like the dirt, and the chest top. And then I have my joint system, so this is the joint base chest, material, and then the basic 3D objects of those, and then my animation take. So if I double click on the animation take, you can see it over here in the preview. And the animation is coming in, so you do want to make sure your animation for your objects are coming in properly and it animates properly. You also want to make sure that the models come in properly as well. So the next thing I need to do is create a material for each one of these. There is a base material, but I can't really edit it. So I'm going to create a new material in Unity, and we will create this from scratch and add our textures to that. So in the same folder, I'm going to right click and choose Create Material, and we'll call this one M_coin. Let's go ahead and create another one, Create Material, M_chest. Okay. Alright, so let's start with the coin. I'm going to select the coin material, And there's little boxes beside albedo, metallic, and normal, and that's where we're going to drag in our texture maps. So with the coin material visible in the inspector, I'm going to click and drag my coin texture into my albedo, which is base color texture to the albedo. I'm going to drag my metallic coin texture into the metallic node here, and then I'm going to drag the normal for coin into normal map. It may give you, it says this texture is not marked as a normal map, and we can choose fix now, and it'll treat it like a normal map and produce that bumpy detail properly. Okay, so my source is from a metallic. The other option is albedo, but sometimes we want to use the albedo alpha for transparency. So for this one, we're going to use the metallic alpha, and now we can add, let's take our coin object and add it into our 3D scene. Just kind of move over here so we can see it from a camera point of view as we're playing. Rotate that. Let's actually just do reset. Oh, there we go. Actually, I don't want to reset. Let's just do 0, 90, and 0. Here we go, so we can see it. And then I'm going to take that coin material I just created and drag that to my coin. There we go. All right, I'm going to rotate it so I can see it with the lighting. Move it down so my actual character can see it when I'm moving around. Okay. So when I look at this model, you can see that it is shiny, and it's kind of dirty where it shouldn't be dirty, or where it should be, so it's not shining in some areas. The overall coin is still pretty shiny. But if I select my coin material, you can see that it is working according to the smoothness map there, according to that TIFF file. Alright, so I do want it to be smooth in some areas, but if I want to drag it down, I can change the smoothness value again if it's too shiny or whatnot. So maybe we'll drag it back a little bit. That looks pretty good there. You can still see the visual detail. Let's do the same thing for the chest. So the chest material, we're going to take our chest base color and drag that into albedo. And we're going to change or drag our metallic roughness to our metallic. And whoops. And then we're going to take our normal map for the chest and add it to normal. And we're going to do fix now to make sure it rates it as a normal map. So now with our chest, we can drag our chest into here. And my chest might be a little big. We'll rotate it some 90 degrees. There you go. So we can always kind of reduce this down, maybe 0.75, 0.75, 0.75. There you go. That looks pretty good. Put it in our scene. And then apply our chest material to that. So I'm just going to drag this in and apply it to that model. There we go. So you can see that it is shiny only where I want it to be. The wood is less shiny than the metallic gold area is. Once again, if I want to change that, I can drag that smoothness back down some and reduce the shininess out completely. But with that metallic alpha channel, it actually adds it how I want it to. So now I can play, and this is kind of a first-person point of view game here. Whoops. There you go. I can come in here and look at those textures and see that it is displaying it properly. I don't think I can jump up there on top of it. Yeah, I can. Look at that. But some other things that aren't set up as default is there's no colliders on these objects. So I can kind of move right through them. So then I would need to set up colliders on these. So with my mesh coin, in the 3D view, after I drag it in, I can come in here and do, let's see, mesh collider. Okay, and the coin is going to be connected to that, and then we do chest, and we can add a mesh collider to that. There we go. So now if we play, I'm stopped by the geometry, so I can't actually, oh, that one's not on there, so don't get in there. Nope, okay, so we'll have to go correct that one. But the coin is working, so you can see I'm stopped by that mesh collider there. Alright, so we just got to finalize the other one, but that's how we can import models in, apply materials, and then create colliders for each one of these. That'll wrap up this video discussing how to import in models into the Unity engine.